Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this latest Bray Wyatt theory video. We're going to talk about everything that went down Bray Wyatt related at Crown Jewel. There's quite a bit to go through here. When I was watching Crown Jewel live, I did find myself wanting more from the Bray segment. But actually, now that I've watched it a few times and I've made a few notes and I've got a few screenshots, we've actually ended up with tons to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to going through this video with you guys, sharing some thoughts and feelings. And one of the big questions that we need to answer is Nikki Cross now working with Bray Wyatt? We're going to talk about why people are thinking that she is. And in fairness, she could be. And I'm also going to let you know what I think about that. But let's get started here. Look, you can see Alexa. This is a big moment tonight. Alexa sees Bray's logo. It interrupts her backstage promo. She sees it. She's concerned by it. She's distracted by it. You can see that Asuka catches a glimpse of it as well. And this is very interesting. There's been nothing so far to hint towards Bray going after Alexa. So this got people very excited. And what I'm going to say about this is we need to keep an eye on this. It's hard to say right now if he is targeting her. My answer is I don't know. We've not got enough evidence yet to make any kind of decision as to whether he is or isn't targeting her. One of the explanations for this could be that this is damage control trying to get into Alexa's head, trying to mess up with her mind before she goes out to have this big championship match. Of course, Damage Control lost the tag titles on Monday. They were trying to win them back at Crown Jewel. It would make sense that they would flash this logo on screen just to get inside her head, just to kind of distract her and throw her off her game. So, yeah, that's one of the explanations. Of course, it could also be Bray, who is just letting Alexa know that he is around. He might not be attacking yet, but she should definitely be concerned. So this was a big, big moment. And it's hard to get a read as to where we're going to go from here regarding it. But, yeah, if you thought this was interesting, then I think we can also agree that the lights going out during the match was interesting. To my knowledge, this didn't happen during any other match, only Alexa's. The lights went out as Alexa was in the ring. Again, that feels very Bray Wyatt. It definitely adds a bit more fuel to the theory that Bray is targeting Alexa. There would be something quite significant, though, that would happen during this match towards the end. And, of course, that is the moment where Nikki Cross would jump into the ring and attack Alexa. Now, people are looking at the logo. They're looking at the lights going out. They're looking at Nikki being in there. They're adding it all together. And you can totally understand why people are coming to the conclusion that Nikki is working with Bray. And she could be, right? She could be. But I do think there's another explanation. I do think there's another kind of explanation as to where this could be leading to. And for me, I think that right now she probably isn't working with Bray. I think that what we might be looking at are two separate things. I think the Bray logo, the lights going out, that might be one thing. But I think Nikki is something different. And I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why is Survivor Series, right? Now, bear with me because I know that this is a bit of a swerve. Survivor Series is not that far away. It's a few weeks away. It's a big show. We don't have time to build new feuds before we get to Survivor Series. So really, a lot of the stories that are being told now, they will be the stories that carry through to Survivor Series. In my mind, if you're going to have a women's War Games match, one of the teams is going to be Damage Control, right? Now, at the moment, it would be Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa taking on Dakota, Iyo, and Bayley. That would be a 6-person War Games match. It's probably not enough. It's probably not big enough. Like, War Games tends to be 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. So you're going to need more people to be involved. So I think what we're going to get is we are going to get Nikki joining Damage Control. Might not be permanently, but I think she's going to join them as we build towards Survivor Series. And then I think those 4 will take on Bianca, Asuka, Alexa, and Candice LeRae. Don't forget, Candice LeRae was brutally beaten up by Damage Control just the other week. I think she will come back soon. I think she will join up with Asuka, Alexa, Bianca, and then all of a sudden you've got 4 against 4, and you are ready for Survivor Series. That makes more sense to me as to why Nikki has just attacked Alexa than Nikki joining up with Bray Wyatt. It could still go that way, right? I'm not totally ruling it out, but I just think Survivor Series is maybe a cleaner explanation as to why we've headed in this direction. And don't forget as well, there was a moment on Raw this week where Bayley was actually talking to Nikki Cross, seemingly trying to win her over, get her to join Damage Control. And so, you know, could the seeds have been planted here for Nikki joining up with Damage Control and being a partner for them as we build towards Survivor Series? That's just something to think about. But, yeah, nothing is being ruled out at this stage. And everything that we saw regarding Alexa tonight was very, very interesting. Let's turn our attention, though, to Bray. And here you can see the start of the Bray segment. So here we've got the drones in the sky making up the Bray logo. This was very cool. This was very cool. Love this. Looked fantastic as well. So Bray made his way down. It's worth mentioning that Shatter had an extra verse tonight. A verse that I don't think anyone had heard before. And, yeah, people were seemingly loving that. So Bray made his way down to the ring. And when he got into the ring, obviously he had the half blue, half red. We've seen this before. I think this is significant because I feel like the half blue, half red is really symbolizing 2 different sides. And that seems to be very much the story that is being told at the moment. You know, Bray having a real inner conflict. 2 sides, a lightness and a darkness. In fact, it might not even be a lightness and a darkness. It might be a darkness and a even more darkness, because I've always associated the red with the darkness. Like, when I think of red, I think of the Fiend, and we know that the Fiend was Bray's darkness. And the blue, I've always associated with, like, Bray's lighter side. The only problem is that Uncle Howdy is always being presented in blue. And I don't think Uncle Howdy is a lighter side of Bray. I don't know, I find it hard with the colors at the moment. I haven't quite got a good read as to how we're using those. But either way, I wanted to include it here because I do feel like this is significant. And it feels like this is a conversation that we should be having. So if you have any thoughts on the red and the blue lights, let us know. As I said, I thought the blue was going to be Bray's lighter side, but we keep seeing Uncle Howdy being presented in blue, and that doesn't quite fit the theory. So that one's going to need a little bit more work. But what did Bray say anyway? So a couple of things here, actually, that I thought were really interesting. He spoke for quite a while, and he spoke about his family. He spoke about his wrestling family. He spoke about coming from a prestigious family. And I did wonder if this was him just laying the groundwork, because, of course, big rumors that Bo Dallas is going to be coming in, Bray's real-life brother. And so he could be just laying the foundations here just getting ready for Bo coming in. Obviously, we don't know where this story is going. A lot of people think the Howdy mask is based on Bray's real-life uncle. So it does feel like his family is quite important to this story. So it was just really interesting to hear him mention his family. So wanted to include that. The other thing he spoke about was how he wanted to be the greatest. And in order to do that, he had to turn himself into a monster. This monster, though, would go on to destroy him, and it would run off everyone he loved. Now, this was really interesting because I couldn't quite figure out what this monster was. The obvious answer, of course, is the Fiend. Now, the Fiend is a monster that he created, and I can understand how the Fiend destroyed him. Because if you think about it, in his last run, we had the Fiend and we had Funhouse Bray. We didn't really get the real Bray Wyatt. This Bray Wyatt that we're seeing now, we didn't see him last time. So he was kind of pushed to the side, really. Last time we saw Bray, there were other personas, other characters that were taking the spotlight. And so that meant that the real Bray was very much pushed into the shadows. So I could understand him talking about the Fiend. I don't quite know how the Fiend ran off everyone that he loved, though. That's something that I was just kind of struggling with a little bit. What it actually made me think is I wondered if he wasn't talking about the Fiend. I wondered if the monster that he was talking about was really himself. And I know this is quite deep, and I understand we're not going to spend too long on this. But if you think about it, he would have been very frustrated last time. Very frustrated because he was trying to do something very creative. And I think he was constantly butting heads with Vince McMahon. And so I would imagine that led to a lot of frustrations. And I would imagine it meant that he was going home, just, letting out those frustrations. He was probably moody, a bit angry, maybe a bit depressed. Maybe that is the monster that he created. Maybe that is the monster that pushed all of his loved ones away. It was the frustrations from not being able to express himself in the way that he wanted last time. That would certainly explain why his loved ones were being pushed away. And it would certainly explain as to why he said that no one really loves him. He doesn't even think he loves himself. I really got like a very depression sort of vibe from what he was talking about. Maybe something a bit more deeper, something a bit more meaningful than just the Fiend. This is what made me think about, him maybe talking more about himself. As I said, I don't want to dwell too much on that because we could be going down a wrong road there. But there was a lot of stuff here that wasn't like completely spelt out for us. It's not like he mentioned the Fiend. He spoke about the monster that he created. And I think you can interpret that in a few different ways. So he spoke about that. And then this was interesting. At the end of his promo, he put his arms out. And it does just momentarily make me think about that person that we keep seeing. You can actually see them in the background. They've got their arms in the air, but we have seen them with their arms outstretched as well. That person in the background, that makes me think of Vincent from Ring of Honor. Again, we could be going down a wrong road with that, but I just thought it was very interesting that he finishes his promo and then strikes this pose. It's you can't really see it that well, to be honest. It's not a very good camera angle, but you can see his arm kind of outstretched here, and his other one is doing the same. And as I said, it made me think of the person that's on screen actually in the background that also does a similar pose at times. So I thought that was interesting. And then, of course, we would get Uncle Howdy. So Uncle Howdy would start talking to Bray. And this is one of the first times that we have seen Bray actually looking at the screen. That was something else that I thought was really interesting. We never see Bray actually watching these video packages, but here we saw Bray actually watching the video package. Uncle Howdy kept saying, do it, hurt them, and I just thought that was really, really interesting. In fact, I've got everything Howdy said here. So he said, why wear a mask? Why? It must be hard forcing yourself to be someone you're not. You can fool them, but you can't fool me. I feel like what Howdy is saying here is, why wear a mask? Why are you forcing yourself to be something that you're not? So I feel like he's saying to Bray right now, why are you wearing a mask now, right? Why are you pretending to be something that you're not? Do you think they would still love you if they knew the truth? Again, very interesting. What's the truth? I mean, I feel that the truth is that this Bray that we're getting is maybe not the real version of Bray. Certainly not what Uncle Howdy thinks the real version of Bray is. My guess is Uncle Howdy thinks the real version of Bray is maybe something more like the Fiend. And he says, they don't deserve you. The truth is, you're going to go too far and you're going to give in. So why wait? You're going to remember how good it feels. If you're worried about the aftermath, just don't take the mask off. Tell me I'm wrong. I think what Howdy is saying here is that the real version of Bray is the Fiend. And like when the Fiend puts that mask on, that is when we're seeing the real Bray. This Bray is basically the Fiend in a mask. This is the Fiend pretending to be normal. And I think Howdy is trying to get him to go back to being the Fiend. And I think a few people have picked up on this final line, you know, if you're worried about the aftermath, just don't take the mask off. So if he does go back to being the Fiend and he puts the mask on, then, and you're worried about, you know, the fallout of it, just don't take the mask off this time. Don't become Funhouse Bray. Don't be any other personas. Just be yourself. Revel in what you are. And I'm starting to see some of these things really starting to connect now. And as I said, as a result, I thought this was very, very interesting. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts as to if you enjoyed this. I can tell you that Bray enjoyed this. Shout out to Brady, who tagged me in this and sent this over. This is Bray when he jumped into the crowd afterwards. He was making his way through the crowd. Obviously, after that segment ended, we went to like commercials and things. Bray would be led through the crowd, going to a backstage area, and big smile on his face as he was meeting the fans and everything. This obviously has got nothing to do with Howdy and all that kind of stuff. This is just Bray enjoying himself. But yeah, big smile on his face, which is good to see. Good to see that he's enjoying it. I don't know how many times he had a smile like that on his face during the last run, for example. So yeah, it seems like he's definitely enjoying being back. Are you enjoying Bray being back, though? Let me know down in the comments below. Is Nikki joining up with Bray? What did you think of the segment from Crown Jewel? Give me all your thoughts, all your theories. I'm really looking forward to, genuinely, I can't wait to get stuck into them and see what you thought about tonight's show. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.